So I finally remembered my YouTube password and I'm here to do a book review. And it's sad that the book I'm going to be reviewing is a book that I did not really like, and that's going to be my first book review on my YouTube channel. I was hoping that my first book review on my YouTube channel would be a book that I absolutely adore. And to be fair, this book I'm going to talk about was a book that I was really excited about reading when it was first released. I was thinking it's going to be one of my favorite books of the year. Unfortunately, the book let me down so badly that I'm just here to pour out my anger. So the name of the book is Hello Beautiful by Ann Napolitano. Let me read the synopsis of the book before I talk about the things that this book did to me. A rich, compassionate tale of 4 sisters and the love affair that fractures their family. Best friends and sisters, the 4 Padavano girls are seen as inseparable by everyone in their close-knit Italian-American neighborhood. Julia, the eldest, is the rocket of the family. She always has a destination in mind and clear plans for how to get there. Sylvie is happiest with her nose in a book, dreaming of the kind of love you only read about in literature. Cecilia and Emmeline, the twins, are the artist and the caregiver. From childhood, the 4 sisters complete one another. When Julia falls in love with William Waters, a history student and college sports star, she is delighted by the way her plans for adulthood are coming to fruition. A husband, a house, a family of her own. But when darkness from William's past begins to block the light of his future, it is Sylvie, not Julia, who becomes his closest confidant, and the ensuing betrayal tears the sisters apart. Heartbreaking and heart-mending, Hello Beautiful paints a vivid portrait of the unique bond and devastating betrayals of sisterhood. The synopsis even gives bits of the craziness that goes on in this book. But I think I went in blind. I didn't read the synopsis. But even if you read the synopsis, you may not really tell the gravity of the craziness that goes on in this book. I want to let you know that this review is going to be full of spoilers because I have so much pent-up anger in me and I just cannot find a way to gloss over the evil that happened in this book. So I feel like I have to explain it for you to understand, and that might involve giving some spoilers away. So the first thing I didn't like about the book was that the book was more of a tale than a show. We don't even get any visuals like that. We can't really create any visual picture in our head because the writer is just telling us, like in William's story, it's telling us, that the parents didn't talk to him throughout the period he lived with them. And we don't see a scenario painted for us to be able to understand what this means. When Julia moved to Chicago, she was talking about her work and how she's really thriving in her workplace, but it doesn't really give us an idea. I don't even understand the work she does. When I'm reading it, it sounds like she's doing secretarial work and then maybe they invite her to meetings and she gives contribution, but I don't really understand in essence the work that she does. I just felt like the author should have given us more scenarios where we actually see what she's trying to tell us. The book felt very repetitive, and also following from my first point, it wasn't very descriptive. When they talk about the city of the city where they were living, I think Pilsen, it was a small town. They did not really give us description. We don't really see life in that city. It's just about them. Even when Julia moves to Chicago, we don't really see this. We don't get any description. Even when they were in the university, we don't get any feel of what the school looked like or the community looked like. Like, it's just like you're dreaming and you don't have any picture in your dream, because I was struggling to picture what the town looks like. I also did not really get a sense of the time and period of this story. Some books, when you read them and they give you a timing, it gives you an idea. Like, if for example it's a Nigerian book and you're reading about a book that was set in 1960, it will be giving you vibes of, oh, that was the period of independence. You'll be hearing like talk about it, like you'll be feeling the vibe of that period. But when I was reading this book, I was not really feeling the vibe or what was happening in that particular time and space. So even writing it in the book did not really mean anything to me, because I couldn't really get a sense of the period that the book was trying to capture. Then I also found the characters to be very repetitive. Like, at the beginning of the story, like, it was going very well. I was actually enjoying it and I was liking the characters. But as they were growing, I was noticing that they were not really developing. The author just attached labels to each of the sisters or each of the characters in the book, and they just remained fixed in that box. They never really expanded it in fullness. Like, they just remained the way they were, and it was just getting very repetitive and boring. There was a part where in the story where Cecilia gets pregnant out of wedlock. So, in typical Nollywood style, parents put her out of the house because they were embarrassed and they were upset and they were angry with her and all of that. So Julia, in her grand scheme and planning, felt that the solution to this problem is not advocating for your sister, for your parents to forgive her and for the parents to take her back. No, that's not the solution. The solution was for her to also get pregnant. I was just struggling to wrap my head around it. It was just very, very weird to me. Another thing that was so irritating to me was the way people were always walking around eggshells when it comes to William. Like, he was this special person. Yes, he was sick in the book, but they were just treating him like he's this special person that, oh, the parents neglected him, so everybody has to treat him with love. And he was never held accountable for his bad behavior. Then, I think the straw that broke the camel's back for me when I was reading this book was when Sylvie married her sister's ex-husband.
Chai, here is God. Oh.
You know, there's a way they will write something absurd and bizarre in a book, but the writer makes you know, or even the characters around lets you know that this thing these people did is very bad and is abominable, is a taboo. But in the book, it just seemed as if, yes, they talked about it at that initial time that, oh, what you're doing is not good, though. You're going to hurt our sister. You're going to make her not come back again. But everybody just glossed over it like it was a normal affair. Like, I just felt gaslighted throughout the book, because I was wondering, why are people behaving as if this thing this babe did is normal? Like, they allowed her to continue with this craziness and even get married to the man. And at some point, they started making it look like it was Julia that was the problem, not Sylvie. She was actually proud of that her decision, and I was just she never even apologized. When the sister returned, she was like talking about something different. It was the sister that was saying you should apologize even if the sister is finished with the man. Like, I mean, this is family. Sisterhood is sacred. How can you do that kind of thing to your sister? Like, I just could not bear it. Like, the more I was reading it, the more unbelievable this whole scenario was. And another thing that gives me the serious ick is children that maybe they grew up with one parent and then I don't blame you if you are curious about knowing who the other parent is. But I feel very upset especially when that second parent, well, rather the present parent, had been good to you. There's no perfect parent, so obviously they would have done some wrong things. But I feel very sad when they choose to idolize or they value the parent that was absent more than the parent that was present. In the book, Julia's daughter wanted to reconcile with her father William, who abandoned her. She was more concerned about, oh, will she ever forgive her mother? And I'm like, your mother was there for you. She broke her back for you. And it is this stupid man that calls himself William that forgiving him is not an issue. That what the issue should be is whether you should forgive your mom for lying to you. I don't know. I find it very sad, to be honest. One major thing that I picked from the book kind of emphasized something that I'm currently learning in church about brokenness. I'm learning that brokenness, if it's not transformed or dealt with properly, it can be transferred. So in this book, the mother also had a child out of wedlock, even though she eventually married the man. But her family disowned her. Then when her own daughter did the same thing, you would think she would do better. But she didn't do better. She did the exact same thing her parents did. So it's the same thing. William was complaining that, oh, the parents neglected him because they were depressed. And he did the same thing. He neglected his own daughter and felt he did not want to have anything to do with her. So if it's like when you don't deal with brokenness, it continues to grow and continues along, the generation. But enough talk about the things I didn't like about the book. For the things I loved about the book, I loved the cover of the book. Like, the book is really, really beautiful. I love the cover of the book. I love the title of the book. And then I also like the way the author was throwing in bombshells, because if she wasn't doing that, the book would have been a very long and boring tale. So yeah, I think that one was okay. I also think that the writing was nice. Yeah, because you have to give it to the author. Writing is not easy, and I really love the way she writes, especially at the beginning parts when everybody was still sane and behaving like normal people and not taking over their sisters' husbands. Well, I'm going to give the book 3 stars out of 5. I really wished that the book met my expectation, and I want to know what you think about the book if you've read it in the comments. So see you in my next video.